Hello, and welcome to the English Listen Lab. Today, we have an exciting story for English learners at the A2 level. This story follows David, a young man who embarks on a journey of change, challenge, and self-discovery. Listen carefully, enjoy the story, and try to understand the words and phrases as you follow along. David's Journey of Change. Chapter 1, A New Beginning. David is 25 years old. He has been living in the same town for most of his life. It is a quiet town where everyone knows each other. However, David has always wanted to experience something new. One day, he gets an unexpected email from a company in another city. They offer him a job that seems perfect for him. After thinking for a while, he decides to take it. Leaving his hometown is not easy. He says goodbye to his family and friends. His mother hugs him tightly. "Take care of yourself, David," she says. His best friend, Mark, gives him a small notebook. "Write down your adventures," Mark says with a smile. With a mix of excitement and nervousness, David gets on the train. The city awaits. Chapter 2. The first day in the city. The city is big, noisy, and full of life. David arrives in the evening and takes a taxi to his new apartment. The buildings are tall, the streets are busy, and everything feels fast. He looks out of the window and sees bright lights and people walking quickly. It is very different from his hometown. The next morning, he wakes up early and gets ready for his first day at work. He takes a deep breath before stepping outside. He checks the map on his phone and walks to the office. The roads are confusing, and at one point, he takes a wrong turn. After asking for directions, he finally arrives on time. At the office, he meets his boss, Mr. Carter, and his colleagues. They are friendly and welcoming. However, the work is challenging. David realizes he has a lot to learn. Chapter 3. Challenges and Mistakes. The first week at work is tough. David struggles to keep up with the tasks. He forgets important details, makes small mistakes, and feels overwhelmed. One day, he accidentally sends the wrong email to a client. Mr. Carter calls him to his office. "David, I know this job is new for you," Mr. Carter says. "Mistakes happen, but it's important to learn from them. Take your time, ask questions, and you will improve." David feels embarrassed, but also motivated. He decides to work harder. He stays late to review his work and asks his colleagues for advice. Slowly, he starts improving. Chapter 4. Finding New Friends. David realizes that work is only one part of his new life. He also needs friends. One evening, he joins a language exchange event at a nearby cafe. People from different countries are there, practicing English and other languages. He meets Maria, a Spanish teacher, and Alex, an engineer from Germany. They talk about their experiences of moving to a new place. "It was difficult at first," Maria says, "but now I love it here." David feels more comfortable. He starts going to social events, meeting new people, and exploring the city. He understands that making friends takes time, but is important for feeling at home. Chapter 5, A Difficult Decision. After a few months, David starts feeling more confident at work and in the city. However, one day, he receives a phone call from home. His father is sick, and his family wants him to visit. David is torn. He has responsibilities at work and has started building a life in the city, but he also wants to be there for his family. He talks to Mr. Carter, who listens carefully. Family is important, David. Take a few days off and go home. Work will be here when you return. David is relieved. He books a train ticket and prepares to visit his family, realizing that no matter how far he goes, home will always be a part of him. Chapter 6. Returning home. David boards the train back to his hometown. The familiar scenery outside the window brings back memories. When he arrives, his mother hugs him tightly, and he visits his father in the hospital. Seeing his father smile despite his illness makes David emotional. He realizes that no matter how much he loves the city, his roots will always be at home. He spends the next few days with his family, helping around the house and taking care of his father. His younger sister, Emily, shares stories about school, making David laugh. For the first time in months, he feels truly relaxed. Chapter 7. Balancing life and work. During his stay, David starts thinking about how to balance his job and family. His boss, Mr. Carter, is understanding, but David knows he cannot always take time off. He talks to his mother, who encourages him to continue building his career. "You are doing great things, David," she says. "Your father and I are proud of you." With a clearer mind, David decides to return to the city, but promises to visit more often. He also sets up regular video calls with his family to stay connected. Chapter 8. A fresh perspective. Back in the city, David feels different. His time at home reminded him of what truly matters. He approaches work with a new mindset, focusing on doing his best, but not stressing over small mistakes. He also spends more time with his friends. Maria, Alex, and others support him, and he realizes that his friendships make the city feel like home. He starts enjoying little things, long walks, weekend trips, and trying new foods. David understands that change is not about choosing between his past and future, but embracing both. Chapter 9. A new challenge. One day, Mr. Carter calls David into his office. "David, we have an opportunity for you," he says. "A new position is opened in another country. It would be a big step in your career." David is shocked. Another move? Just as he was starting to feel comfortable, a new challenge appears. He spends days thinking. He asks friends, family, and even himself what he truly wants. The idea of starting over again is scary, but deep down he knows he is ready. He accepts the offer. Chapter 10. A bright future. David's last weeks in the city are emotional. He says goodbye to his colleagues, packs his bags, and has a farewell dinner with his friends. On his final night, he stands on his apartment balcony, looking at the city lights. He feels grateful for everything, the struggles, the lessons, and the memories. This is just another step, he thinks, and I'm ready for it. With a deep breath, he embraces the unknown, knowing that every challenge leads to growth. Thank you for listening to David's story. We hope this helps you improve your English listening skills. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you can listen to more fun lessons. Do you have any thoughts about David's journey? Or do you have ideas for future stories? Leave a comment below and share your feedback. We'd love to hear from you. See you next time on the English Listen Lab. Goodbye and happy learning.